Senators are expressing concern over the country's economy, fearing the problem will get worse if it's not addressed immediately. On Monday, President Rodrigo Duterte said the economy is sinking deeper and we are losing 2 billion pesos a day due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's now get the views of economic think tank Ibon Foundation Executive Director Sonny Africa. He joins us tonight. Thank you so much for joining us, Sonny. In your view, do you agree with President Duterte that the economy is really sinking deeper and deeper and in bad shape?
For the first time, I think I agree with President Duterte, and doubly so. Our computations actually were losing 4.2 billion pesos a day, which is double what the president actually admitted. So yes, we do agree. I heard the quote from Acting Secretary Chua. The more we hear statements of concern from the economic managers that aren't matched by action, it's so disappointing. It sounds just so much more like rhetoric. There's so much they could do if they wanted to, but this narrow-mindedness and refusal to spend more, to put more money in people's pockets, that's just going to make the problem worse down the line.
So the economy shrank by 9.5% last year. So you're saying then, Sonny, that the government did not exhaust all efforts to save this economy.
It was so crazy. As early as March or as early as April and May last year, there were proposals for a big stimulus program precisely to avert the kind of economic collapse. At the very start, economic managers said, creditworthiness is important, we don't have enough money to spend. Actually, we're paying the price for that narrow-minded expectation of creditworthiness. And the strange thing is, after seeing these awful 2020 figures, not just for the contraction, but also for unemployment, it's still business as usual for the economic managers. And that complacency is just, I think, unforgivable, considering how many Filipinos are suffering right now.
Sonny, I'm trying to play devil's advocate here, but do you think that the government is coming up with this scenario that we are sinking deeper and deeper and we are in bad shape? So it could push for an economic charter change, which could mean opening up the economy more to foreign investors.
Economic charter change is not going to do anything.
Sonny, can you hear me?
Anything. By the declaration of Lord Velasco ratified in the...
Looks like we're having some internet issues with Sonny Africa from Ibon Foundation. Sonny, can you hear me now?
Solution. A big fiscal stimulus right now is the solution.
Okay, it seems like Sonny Africa's internet connection is intermittent.
Sorry.
Sonny, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Rico. Sorry about that.
Can you hear me now? So,
yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, so what's your view right now about this CREATE bill, which will reduce the corporate tax rate and implement other tax incentives? Could it help the economy at least this year?
We don't think so. If we put more money into big corporations right now, very few MSMEs will benefit from the CREATE bill. The biggest beneficiaries for that are the large, stable corporations, also any foreign corporations that are going to be able to take advantage of that. It's much better to put the same 133 billion pesos in people's pockets. That's going to be spent. That's going to sort of make more small businesses feel it's worthwhile to stay open. And there's going to be a much bigger multiplier effect rather than improving the balance sheets of large corporations. So it's actually ironic. Every time there's a crisis, corporate income taxes go down. The last two times this happened was 1997 and 2008. And again, now the crisis, it's a bit opportunistic in our view, and unacceptable to be losing revenues at a time when we need to spend so much more to boost the economy.
So instead of borrowing money from international lenders, because if you take a look right now at our national debt, Sonny, it is more than 10 trillion pesos. So that means every Filipino will own will owe international lenders at least 90 to 100,000 pesos. And I'm sure a lot of our kababayans will not be able to pay this amount in their lifetime. So what needs to be done? Should the government unload assets to be able to raise funds?
Actually, no. We think they should improve their revenue generating capacity. And for the longest time, our advocacy was for a progressive tax system, meaning tax those with the ability to pay, liberate those, the poor middle class, from paying taxes. Right now, a long-standing proposal of Ibon Foundation is for a wealth tax. It doesn't make sense for the 50 richest Filipinos to have 4.1 trillion pesos, but for them not to be paying any tax on that wealth apart from maybe some real property tax. So, actually there is a lot of cash in the Philippines. We agree with increasing the debt profile to borrow more for domestic lenders. That saves a lot of risk in terms of foreign exchange. But I think in terms of revenue generating, there is Philippines right now. We can tax the rich much more. And actually, we can also issue solidarity bonds. I mean, to be honest, big corporations, wealthy families are awash with cash. I mean, such an emergency situation. I think it's about time for the government to consider issuing solidarity bonds, at low negative interest rates, at zero coupon, basically telling those who can afford, the economy is in the dumps. We need your help. We need your solidarity. Can you spare, a few billion pesos to tide us over to avert even worse economic disaster down the line? And that sort of thinking seems to be beyond our economic managers. They're just far too complacent. It's business as usual. And they're going to be spending for infrastructure where a lot of it is going to be leaking to Japanese firms, Chinese contractors, importing equipment, material supplies. That's money better spent, poured into people's pockets than into foreign economy.
So you really have to be creative in terms of raising cash to be able to pay down our debts and to be able to keep this economy running. So we have about 15 seconds. Will 2021 for the Philippines, will we remain in recession this whole year?
Definitely not. We're going to have a little tiny momentary rebound by the second quarter, but that's just because we're coming from an awfully low base last year. We have to spend much more to avert even greater disaster and another slowdown in the years to come.
Sonny Africa from Ibon Foundation, thank you so much for your insights.